welcome. I am Crime Queen, and if you are joining us for the first time, it's the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we are actualizing self-full love with the use of scriptures that have impacted our lives and numerology, as I say, and really to find out how we can use the essence of our learning and teachings and whatever is available to us to become better expressions and versions of who we truly are. Now, who we truly are has just been so amazing. It's been the most delicious. Absolute delicious discovery that I have. Well, they're all very delicious, and I suppose the present is always more delicious than the past. So that's perhaps what I'm relating to right now. But the most delicious thing is to really see through the scriptures that we had learned that the serpent, of course, was evil. That's the connection. That is another connection that we ought to have known, and which perhaps was the seed of my discovery as well. Evil sounds a bit like Eve, really. Eve ill, meaning, so that sounds very much like Eve. And of course, she had been portrayed to be the evil one. But however, we have found out there is much more to this story than we had first thought. Now, of course, what we first thought was quite a story in itself, but the story has now toppled over, right way, right upside down, if you like, it's just toppled. And it's just really amazing. So basically, here we are saying we found out that there are 9 gods in Genesis of chapter 1 and 5 in Genesis of chapter 2. Now we believe with this 9 and 5, which sums up to 14, of course, sums up to Eve when we do the word Eve. Wow. When we write the word Eve, it's also 14. So I've done that quite a few times, and sometimes it feels like I'm going over, but then I need to be mindful that you may be new to this channel. So let's just do this. Okay. And of course, Christ too, who we have been instructed to seek after his ways also equals 5, like when we add 1 plus 4, like in the name Mother Eve. So Eve, EVE, we start here, 4, 5. So this would be 14. 5 plus 9. 5 plus 4 is 9. I'm already given the answer. And 5 would be 14. So we see we have had a series of 14s actually. We also have the series of 14s, and I believe it comes directly on the I am that I am. Let's do that, because that was the thing that really propelled me into the direction of this which we are doing and uncovering. Okay, I am that. So the word that equals 13. So I am that. So I is 9, 1, 4, and this is 2, 8, 1, 2 for that. So when we add that, 2 plus 8, 10, and 3 is 13. So 13 is 4. Okay, then we have AM is 5, 1 plus 4, 5, and then we have 9. So when we add, of course, I am that, I am, so we need to double this here, which would be 14 and 14 and 14, 28, plus 4, 28 plus 4, that would be 8 plus 4 is 12, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So I am that I am is not, doesn't come up like 14 here. It comes up like 30, 32. 3 plus 2 is 5. And this is where we made the connection with Mother Eve in very early on in this series of videos. Now, I am smiling here because it is just really the absolute most delicious revelation. And because I have resisted the idea of holding on to it, it's really, I've made a full acknowledgement of its existence. And I find it so empowering in a sense. Well, yes, there is the thing about Mother Eve being the serpent. Now, there's the other thing, just to make that connection. The word serpent equals seven, like in the word present, because they're very synonymous. Now, that's the other thing. When um when we read something, we tend to forget that the seed of it goes far beyond the surface itself. And this is what it was with God too. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. But Mother Eve was quite deep, very deep. And it is Mother Eve who says, well, because she knows she's deep, she says, let there be light. It's like a husband walks in the room and maybe his wife is asleep, and she really wants to let him know, look, I am not asleep, turn on the light. Which reminds me of this love song, Turn on the Light, or something, or light a candle or something. But, it's really, you could imagine the romantic scene going on. He stirs, he moved, his spirit moved upon the face of the deep. And she really perhaps wants to see his face, you know, because on the face is something that it to be reflective. And she wants to see his face and she says, turn on the light. Let there be light. Now that was really in essence the very first, would it be the first? Yeah, let there be light. So that is the first speech, our first command, our first suggestion, our first the first said, because she is the said God, the God of words, the God of words. Now, there's the maths that we really need to pay attention to. Back to words. She is words. Word is 6. Words would be 7. Words, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was God, and the Word was with God. With re is 6. This is all mathematical we are looking at here. The Word, my pen. The Word was with. The word with equals 6, like in the word said. Like said, because we are talking about the God said, which is Mother Eve. Okay, so if we have 5, 9, 2, 8, this is 10, 19, 24. So 2 plus 4 is 6. So the Word was with God, meaning the Word, it was with. With is still Mother Eve. It was God. It was it's and was is also 7. So meaning to say 7 corresponds with the word serpent. So basically it's like saying the word was present, or the present was with God, is present with God, in essence. Present with God. The word is present with God. This is what we are learning here. And this was what Mother Eve was about. So Mother Eve is the one who she plays those different roles and different acts. It's like, and there I just said it, different acts. It's like she wears different hats. And that's the thing. She wears different hats. Okay, so let's just backtrack on all of this now in case you're new to this. So there are 14 gods. Now the 14 gods, I've gone over this. Let's just have a quick um okay, they may not be in order, but we have the God said. The God said, or the said God, I'd rather term it, the said God is Eve. Then there is the saw God, the God who saw thing. He saw not only with the eyes we are talking about, but we see that there is a bridge between our eyes, which denotes that that is a saw. It's as if the edge of the bridge is what is saw. Then there's divided. So of course there is the division here, the God of division, the God who called. So there is a calling. To call is not just to speak, but there is a to command in a way. And so the formed God, the one who formed things, who formed man. I think man was formed in his own image and likeness. And the God who made, and we also have the God who make. The maker. The maker now, that reminds me, the maker would coincide with the carpenter story of Christ. Okay, the story of Christ as a carpenter, the maker, the marker. And I have Mark. For some reason, I think Mark is also 7. Okay, so that we have the God set and the God who ended, the God who breathed, the God who created, the God who moved. Of course, that's the very first God is really Eve, because we are talking about Genesis of chapter 1 verse 2. This is where the first God is established, because there we say the Spirit of God moved. God moved upon the face of the deep. So God moved, and then we had this is already denoting that the waters were still. It was still. So Mother Eve was there just still, just minding her own business, just asleep, perhaps, or pretending to be. um, because she was very much alive for everything to come out of her. All beasts of the field, all fowl of the air, all great creatures that had life, they came out of her. Okay. And the fish of the sea. And so we had the God who planted. There is another interesting God, because the God who planted, plant equals 9. 9 is really birthing, it's that newness. And then the God who blessed. Now that's another word that I would like to explore, because it is really that it has carried a sort of smooth and accepting and glorious connotation to say bless you. But it is the word bless has been instilled to continue this cycle of what is, because blessing in a way is to be less. So this is where it is also said that God gave the commandments to multiply, replenish, subdue. So subdue would be in a way like blessing in some sense, because you are, or replenishing, you are taking something away. It is to be lest. This is why Mother Eve is saying, I have not given you the spirit of fear, but the spirit of sound mind. So be less. So when someone say bless you, now, I'm just remembering about the sneeze. When someone sneezes, of course, it's like when another person says, bless you. it's supposed to be like a demarcation. Something has gone out of you and you do not have that anymore. You have just spurted out a burst of air which does not belong where it was anymore. So it is in some way, not consciously, but in some way to let you know that this is out of you. Now you don't have it. You really, um, you are blessed of that thing. You have been blessed of that thing that was within you. That is what blessed means. Blessed. Okay. That's the spirit of sound mind. Now, sound mind, I done a calculation on one of my videos and I tried to rectify it with a statement. There's still another one I suppose I'll have to do. But sound mind, S-O-U-N-D, mind is 22. This is 4954. So 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 4 is 22, and that's how we have 4. Now, mind is a master number here. This is really saying um, the magnitude of partnership that is required in to to be mindful, if you like, because you need to have the spirit of sound and the spirit of discernment. Okay, so 4 5, 3, 6, 1. So this is again 9 and 9, 18 and 1, 19. So this is actually 10. 10 is actually 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. That's Mother Eve. Now, just again to readdress why I'm saying Mother Eve is that we have to keep going back to this. This is our magical template. Our magical template, this is a depiction of Mother Eve. Of course, not very happy at the moment because not many people have discovered her in the way that is necessary for us to be mindful of her presence right now. She's not happy. She is obviously quite sad. She is waiting and calling for us to come home to her, to be nursed, to be loved, to be replenished, to be counseled. And this is what she said in Job of chapter 38 and verse 2 or 3, 1 to 3, it's somewhere around. And she says about she is the one who darkeneth counsels. She darkens counsels, meaning without words. That means she is talking about emotion. She's talking about feelings here. Without words, she darkens. This is the sadness. She can have a storm without uttering a word. That's what like a lot of women would do. Without they've stopped talking and now they're flinging plates here and there when they're angry. And first as well, it is in chapter 38 of Job. Now the story is very much interrelated. It's not two different stories in essence because the story of Job is very much Mother Eve in that story. People have been wondering and asking, well, what was Job's wife's name? There is no account of her name, but wife equals 7. 7 equals mother, 7 equals present, 7 equals the serpent, 7 equals earth, 7 equals heart. So she is the one who can darken things. The heart can get dark, the heart can get tight, the heart can be hardened. Likewise, we see the earth can be dry, it can have droughts, and it can cry out. And she also says, where were you when there was the whirlwind happening, the whirlwind happening. Where were you in the womb when the womb was the water was gushing out of the womb and you were being birthed? That is the story Mother Eve is about, and that is the story Mother Eve is conveying to each and every one of us to remember where we come from. That is the story. Now I'm going to end this on this part because we don't. In fact, I'll just quickly round this up here. As I say, in case you're new, this is Mother Eve. Mother Eve is number 5. Mother Eve is number 5, and we've also seen how Mother Eve is number 6 because she is the said God. She is the God who speaks. She is the God who gives orders. She is the one who says, "Let there be light. Let the waters flow. Let it bring out food abundantly." Well, fish, beast. Let the fowl of the air. And she's the one who's been saying, she's the orchestrator. She is she's the businesswoman. She is the busy woman. So that's where Mother Eve has been. And now, of course, those who are supposed to be sub-gods or I say sub-gods or supervising other aspects of the business have been doing their own thing. They have been shortchanging not only themselves, but they've been shortchanging her. And now she wants to settle the score. She wants people to get to this point where they get to the headquarters zone here and get to the headquarters zone, have your accounts settled so you can birth newness. You'd be having to pay your dues to the inland revenue and paying your dues to the inland revenue to settle and create newness. Now, just to get you to really understand this template, which may seem, let's get my leg in place, which may seem somewhat odd or somewhat strange, but it was derived from the story of Christ, and it was devised around Easter time when I decided, okay, I had just started doing my videos, and again, as it would happen intuitively, I was guided to do a video. It was Easter, and I thought, okay, what am I going to say? And then I just went along with it. Okay, so then the first thing, of course, around Easter, I was thinking about sacrifice. Not so much the resurrection, but the sacrifice came to mind. Then I saw that it came perfectly in line with nine letters, meaning 9 numbers. Okay, so there we had these arranging these numbers and letters accordingly. We also came up with certain um, words or certain phrases that made sense to remembering and making this more interesting. Although I had already devised some of these already, but there was, like everything else when you're doing it, you become better or you are looking to improving, and something happened that I found myself changing the position of the e here, which became the e and en was changed. And when I looked onto this side, I had no inclination to change any of the letters there. I really thought that was a kind of strange. And of course, I could then see it was Fox, Gypsy Journey, and then Headquarters Zone and Inland Revenue. Inland Revenue really came live and direct, like I am speaking to you right now, recording this thing. And so, and Headquarters Zone, and of course it was funny, and we went along with it. So we saw that the first line is really the jazz line. This is, or we could say, the first 4 years of your development, which was happening here. When you get to the stage here of really saying the number 4, when added together, these numbers become 10. It's like you have been given a chance to have a degree of innocence, or the chance as if your sins have been wiped out from in that stage. No matter whether you were lucky or not, it would appear that way because you have done number 10. 10 is perfect. The word perfect is 10 in numerology. So you have this one hair. So basically, I am glad to be readdressing this. So in essence, it is one. So in essence, when we finish number 9, we come back to this one. We have the choice to do that, I am believing. But the cycles of real personal growth and personal transformation happens in 9 to 5, because this is really beginning and this is really end. It's as if you're going through this more or less innocently or intuitively. You're going through this, but you end here. You are doing those cycles. They are cycles, cycles on top of cycles, like eights on top of eights, we have seen. So we do this, and this is the crucial part, of course, with the, again, intuitively guided to have revelation, because revelation equals 13. And when you add all the numbers, all the letters, or the numerical value, the last two digits before getting a single digit like 4, it would be 4, is 13. Now, 13 is in direct correlation with, I think it was, is it water? This is 14, um, 14, 15, 20, 22. So it adds to 22. 22 is also 4. So it doesn't come like 13, but it comes at 22, which is also 4. Now, water in itself being 22 is really saying, I can be smooth and I can be rough, because there's that partnership it is really forming with us. Back to water. Hey, this is what Mother Eve was saying to Job in Job chapter 38. I can be a hurricane. I am like a hurricane. This is the other part of water she is talking about. Where were you when I gushed you out of my womb? More or less, that's what she was asking. Think, where did you come from? How did you think you got onto this place where you're at? Now you're complaining about sores and you're complaining about cars, or whatever it is that he was. And yet, all it was, Mother Eve really wanted him to have this introspection, to realize who he truly is and his true makeup. Not about power like I really thought. Of course, there might be that as well, but it's really, which I'm going to do other presentations on that story, because it's really very much, very profound. Because Mother Eve might as well have been playing the part of the wife in this case, because it was the wife who said to the husband Job, why don't you curse God and die? Now the word die equals, that it would be, let's just see, I'm thinking it's 10, but let's just see this. DIE. Yes, so this is 954. So this is 9 and 9, 18. 9 and 9, 18. So 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. So when we talk about die, this is the thing, we have been taught this story in such a cruel way or meaning, that to die would be the worst thing that can happen. But she's more or less saying, why don't you curse God and have this new, give yourself this new cycle? Now, the word curse as well is not as we have taken it to be, because I am really, CURSE, curse, 33915. Again, why you see 9 and 5 together is always very crucial. So this is 10, this is 15, 15 and 3 is 18, and 3 is 19, 18, 19, 21. So curse in actual fact, which is 3, and of course being 21, it's like, why don't the curse is because it is said it takes 21 days, if you like, to create a new habit. So if you curse, it's like you are um like going, it's like you're not allowing yourself to grow at that, not grow at that moment, but you are in hermit stage. That's the point. You are in hermit stage. So you have to, till you begin to propel that wave, which is three. You are looking for partnership. So when it's no wonder when someone is restless, it is said that they are cursed. So to be 21 and 3, you are looking, you have not got this partnership or stability yet, but you are looking where to get into this partnership. So to curse and die would be 12. Curse, which is 3, die, which is 9, and that would be 3 plus 9 is 12, and then you have that newness, going through the newness of the number 3. Okay. Now, um, okay, this is 31 minutes. We were talking about Revelation. Perhaps it's Revelation is now saying, wrap up this presentation, because Revelation has a way of uncovering things. And let's look at and see what is being further developed from Mother Eve, because Mother Eve has a lot to say because she is the said God. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have found this fun. I hope you have found it insightful. Please leave your comments, like, and subscribe, and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualizing self-love. Stay blissful, stay bright, be a feel, be ignited, because we are planting new seeds, and spill over with love.